It was the night shift, and I was working at the post office. I was in the area next to the parking lot, chatting with my colleague Mark. I leaned against one of the cars, deep in conversation, when two colleagues from the control room suddenly called out, "Stefan, what's going on over there? Aren't you supposed to be on guard duty? Why did you let that girl come inside?" Mark and I exchanged confused looks. "What girl?" I asked. I looked at the camera feed, annoyed, and said mockingly, "Do you really think you can scare me with this? Come on, stop this nonsense." But Mark's expression turned serious. My colleague's voice came through again, trembling. "I'm not joking. There's a girl in a black dress standing a few meters behind you." I sighed, exasperated. "Oh, great," I muttered. "I really don't have the energy for this right now." Boom! Something fell from a staff member's hands nearby, making us jump. Instinctively, Mark and I stepped back. A cold wave of unease washed over me. My breath hitched as an inexplicable feeling crept up my spine, like someone was standing right behind me. Slowly, I turned, heart pounding. There was no one there. Mark glanced nervously around, and I did my best to hide my growing dread. In the control room, my colleagues were whispering frantically. "Do you see her? Oh my God, she's still there!" My hands shook as I grabbed a flashlight and scanned the area. "Where is she?" I demanded. Frustration bubbled up, and I lunged at the empty air in anger, trying to shake off the fear that clung to me. But the control room had gone silent. When my break came, I headed to the control room, determined to call out my colleagues for their so-called prank. But before I could start, my eyes were drawn to the monitor. There she was. A girl in a black dress, standing motionless, just as they'd described. A chill ran through me. I couldn't return to my post that night. My thoughts raced. Who, or what, was she? Why had she appeared here? The questions swirled in my mind, refusing to settle. From that night on, I prayed every morning until sunrise. Her memory lingered, and a deep, unnerving sense of being watched never left me. My name's Sarah, and I had just turned 19 when I got accepted into university. Moving away to Denver, Colorado felt exciting at first, but I dreaded the idea of living in a dorm and sharing spaces with strangers. So, I decided to find a small apartment of my own. For weeks, I scoured ads and reached out to friends in the area, asking if they knew of anything suitable for a student. Finally, one of them called and said, "Hey, a friend of mine is moving out of his apartment. The landlord's looking for a new tenant. The place is small, but it might work for you." I didn't have much time left before classes started, so I didn't overthink it. Sure, the apartment was 30 minutes from campus, not ideal, but I was desperate. My parents helped me move in, unpack, and settle into my new space. For the first few weeks, everything seemed fine. Life at university was great. I made friends, went to parties, and felt like things were falling into place. One night at a small get-together, I met a guy named Mark. He was glued to his phone most of the time, scrolling through social media, but he had a quirky sense of humor that made him stand out. A few days later, I bumped into Mark on campus, and we started talking. Out of nowhere, he said, "Hey, I've been meaning to ask you something. Do you, or maybe your family, post videos on YouTube?" I blinked, confused. "What? No, I've never even uploaded anything on YouTube." He frowned. "Are you sure? Because I swear, I saw a video of you, like, in your house." I laughed nervously. "You've got the wrong person." Mark shook his head and pulled out his phone. "Hold on, just let me show you." He opened YouTube, scrolled for a moment, and then handed me his phone. "Look, this is you, right?" The world seemed to tilt on its axis as I stared at the screen. There I was, in my apartment. The video wasn't just any video, it was personal. It showed me doing things no one else was supposed to see. My stomach churned as cold dread crawled up my spine. Have I taken my family against their will? Without the realization, I'd probably spent much of my life proving them wrong. No, I whispered, my voice shaky. This can't be real. Mark's face mirrored my horror. I thought it was weird too. It's not something I'd expect you to post. I had no intention of posting it. The Facebook, it was part of the agreement. The coffee cup in my hand slipped, shattering on the ground. My heart pounded in my ears as Mark scrolled through the channel. More videos. Dozens of them. Each one invaded my privacy in ways I didn't think possible. Me changing clothes. Me in my most vulnerable moments. I ran out of there as fast as I could and went straight to the police. When they arrived to investigate, they uncovered something straight out of a nightmare. Cameras. Hidden cameras. In the hallways, stairwells, and worst of all, inside my apartment. The landlord had installed them everywhere, capturing tenants' private lives without anyone suspecting a thing. It wasn't just me. My neighbors were victims too. The landlord had been uploading videos of us for months, maybe longer, with grotesque, incoherent descriptions attached to each one. He didn't just invade our privacy, he turned our lives into a twisted spectacle. The thought that someone had been watching me in my most personal moments still haunts me. That apartment, which I thought was a safe space, became the stage for the most terrifying chapter of my life. It was the dead of night, exactly 3 in the morning, when I took my post at the lobby desk, keeping an eye on the quiet, empty building. Suddenly, an old woman appeared at the glass door, her thin, bony fingers tapping lightly as she beckoned for help. Her frail appearance made me worry for her well-being, so I opened the door, curious and a bit uneasy. She thanked me softly and asked if she could come in, and I nodded, stepping aside to let her. She wore a faded, worn shawl draped around her shoulders like a second skin, and her face was etched with deep lines, each one like a shadow from the past. We began talking, her voice no more than a whisper, but as the seconds ticked by, an unsettling feeling started creeping over me. Then, my colleague's voice crackled through my earpiece from the control room. "Who are you talking to?" he asked. Confused, I replied. "It's an old woman who just came in." There was silence on his end for a moment. Then he spoke again, his tone edged with concern. "There's no one there but you, my friend." I'm looking at the camera feed. "You're alone." Chills ran down my spine as I turned to look at the woman before me. She sat there, staring at me with deep, hollow eyes that seemed to pierce right through me, though she said nothing. A sense of dread was overpowering. I felt as though I was locked in place, frozen under her gaze. But something inside me snapped, and in a blind panic I pressed the elevator button without thinking and bolted down the hallway, into the parking lot, and out of the building altogether. I couldn't breathe, my mind was racing. Days later, as I recounted the experience to the building's residents, I discovered I was far from the first to have seen her. The residents had seen her too, some even claimed to have spoken with her. They referred to her in hushed voices as a good spirit who watched over the building. Her presence was almost a myth, someone they'd all come to know, yet never questioned. But I couldn't shake the feeling of terror, nor could I explain what I'd seen that night. It was as if she existed in two worlds, her ghostly figure drifting between, leaving those who saw her with a lingering, bone-chilling memory that would never fade. I never thought I would have to change my house several times one day. Not because of money, not because of the landlord, just because of something I still don't know what it is. Now that I'm telling you this, it's been 3 years since I left that house, but still there are nights when I'm afraid to turn off the light. I still feel like someone is watching me. But let me start from the beginning. From the very place where my nightmare began. I was a single mother, with an 8-year-old son and a dog. After searching for a long time, I had to rent an old and cheap house in the suburbs. You know, when you're alone, when you have a child, you have to choose any place you can. even if deep down something is screaming that it's wrong, that don't go. In short, we went to that house. The house where from the first day there was something heavy in the air, in a way that it felt like someone was there, but you couldn't see them. To ease my mind, I installed a few security cameras in the house, so that if my son is ever alone, I would know he's okay. But those cameras, they were the ones that showed me the truth, a truth I wished I had never known. At night, I heard the sound of something being dragged on the floor. The sound of whispering. Doors and windows opening and closing by themselves. But I thought maybe it was just fatigue. Maybe it was just an illusion. Until that night, the night my son came into my arms with fear, he said, "Mum, there's something in the room." I calmed him down. But that night, the cameras had recorded something else. The drawer of my wardrobe opened by itself. My dog jumped up from sleep, stared at a dark corner, the same corner I didn't even dare to look at. That night, I realized, we are not alone in that house. But the misfortune is here. Even when we left the house, that thing came with us. I swear, you're still by my side. I never thought I'd sell the house I built with my own hands. It wasn't just wood and stone. It was us. Years of dreams, struggles, little victories, all tucked inside those walls. It was Women's Day. I had everything ready. A cake, some gifts and balloons. On the way home, I spotted a small golden decoration. My wife, Athena, had been looking for something nice to put in front of the TV, so I picked it up for her. That evening was perfect. We laughed, ate, watched a horror film. But halfway through, a book fell from the shelf. Bang! We jumped out of our skins, laughed it off, blamed the film. But the matter didn't end there. A few days later, when I was alone, I heard a sound from the living room. I thought it was Athena. I called out to her, but there was no response. I brushed it off, thinking maybe I was just imagining things. But this happened repeatedly, not just for me, but for Athena as well. One night, she told me she had seen the door to our room slowly open and close by itself. No matter how loudly she called me, I didn't wake up. Fear had begun to take hold of us. At first, I thought someone might be playing tricks on us. Before contacting the police, I decided to install a hidden camera. We informed our families about the strange occurrences. Some even joked that we might be crazy. But I knew we needed proper evidence. One evening, while at Athenian's parents' house, I reviewed the footage, and what I saw chilled me to the bone. The chair in the living room shifted by itself, violently. Then, crash, objects toppled to the ground one by one. The room was empty. No people. No wind. No reason. Just pure, unexplainable terror. I never showed Athena the footage. Instead, I kept wondering, when did it all begin? Then it hit me. The golden ornament. At home, I took a closer look. It wasn't just decoration. It was a chest, shaped like a skeleton. Inside was a scrap of paper covered in strange, twisted symbols. The moment I opened it, something changed. The air grew heavy. It felt like I'd released something. I panicked, threw it in the bin, but it was too late, whatever it was. It was free. We had to leave the house. And now, I can't stop thinking. Who has it now, and what nightmare will it bring next? Hi. I am Sarah. I am a dance and yoga instructor. Or maybe I should say, I was, before everything changed. It's been a few months since I moved back to my mum's house. I needed rest. I'm back in therapy and taking medication just so I can sleep through the night. Most people think depression comes from heartbreak or losing everything. But what if the reason was something far darker, something no one would believe? Let me tell you what really happened. Back in New York, I was doing well. I had a growing YouTube channel, and every Sunday night I held a live class for my students. One night, April 25th. I started my session as usual. I was in the middle of demonstrating a pose when I suddenly felt it. Like someone had entered the room. I turned, and there he was. A man, standing silent, right at the edge of the frame, just watching me. I panicked. I whispered, "Please, please," and ran out of the house. Viewers saw him too. They called the police. But when officers arrived, the house was empty. No signs of a break-in. No evidence at all. People thought I faked it. Some accused me of staging the whole thing for attention. But something told me this wasn't just a random intruder. I re-watched the footage, and I saw something I missed the first time. As I ran, the front door opened on its own. That's when I remembered something. Something I hadn't thought about in months. It was a night a while ago, maybe 3 months before the livestream incident. I'd stayed up with my friend Elena. We were drinking, laughing, enjoying the night. Early the next morning, maybe around 7, she suddenly shook me awake, eyes wide, voice shaking. "There was a man on your bed. Sarah, I saw him. He was standing right there." I ran to check, heart pounding, but the room was empty. The door was locked. Nothing was disturbed. I thought she was drunk, maybe dreaming. I even laughed it off. But now that I've seen him myself, I know she wasn't imagining things. He was real. He's always been here. And every night, when I'm alone, he still visits. He still stands there, still whispers the same words into my ear. "Stay calm, I am here." Stay with me until the end of this video, because you're about to see 6 scenes that could truly mess with anyone's mind. But which one of them is real? Security footage. A shadow appears in a parking garage. The guard shines his torch again and again, but there's nothing there. Or maybe something we just can't see? The wanted man. He's on the run. The police raid his apartment and find cameras hidden in every corner. His disturbing videos are still up. Why haven't they been removed? What was he watching or waiting for? An old woman seen drifting through a hallway. A mother and child in a quiet suburban home. Could these be distant echoes of real lives, or just stories shaped by shadows we'll never truly see? The cursed couple. A man and woman claim something dark lives with them, so they install cameras. Soon enough, things start happening. Noises, shadows, doors moving on their own. Is it real or a well-made hoax? Sarah's visitor. Picture this. You're relaxing, alone at home. Then suddenly you feel it. Not a person, not exactly. In the video, you'll see a dark figure sneak into Sarah's bedroom. Then handprints appear on her bed. No one is there. Or maybe he doesn't want to leave. Do you think he's fallen in love with Sarah? Or is he just haunting her for something darker?